Like and subscribe now, or you're gonna have bad luck this week.
You just never know what you'll find on a walk along the beach. The vast majority of the time, your found treasures will be relatively standard. Seashells, driftwood, maybe a piece of a dead fish. But that's not always the case. As you'll see in this list, some people have come across some bizarre things while strolling their local beaches. From containers filled with cars and TVs to a solar-powered boat. Here are 10 things you won't believe people found on beaches. Number 10. Giant Lego Man. Back in 2012, employees were opening a beachside bar for the day when they noticed something out of the ordinary. Finding a piece of Lego on the beach might be a little weird, but finding a giant Lego Man is definitely 100% bizarre. What's even stranger is that the total of 4 of these huge Lego men, each measuring 8 feet tall, have been found washed ashore. 1 in England, 1 in the Netherlands, 1 in Florida, and 1 in California. It turns out that a Dutch artist is responsible for the washed-up Lego men. The artist, who goes by the name Ego Leonard, launched the Lego men as a guerrilla campaign of sorts. There's even a short film featuring the washed-up Lego men, called No Real Than You Are, a sentence written on each of the found Lego men. Number 9. MSC Zoe. Imagine you are strolling on the beach and suddenly you see containers hitting the shore with cars and plasma screen TVs inside. That actually happened to people in different European countries back in 2019. On the night of January 1st, 2019, the ultra-large container ship MS Zoe was traveling from Portugal to Bremerhaven in Germany, carrying more than 8,000 containers. Passing the Wadden Islands off the Dutch coast, the ship found itself in weather so severe that 342 of its containers were lost overboard, accounting for over 3,000 tons of cargo. Over the following days, large numbers of the containers, holding massive varieties of items including toys, furniture, television, toxic chemicals, and lithium-ion batteries, would be washed up on nearby pristine shores and beaches. That must have been some weather. Well, we hope the sharks got a few TVs and gaming consoles. This was such a rare incident that the ship was in news headlines as long as the containers kept showing up even after months. Number 8. Ghost Ship. At some point in the early hours of February 16th, a ship washed up on the rocks off the village of Ballycotton in County Cork, first spotted by a jogger out for their Sunday lunchtime run. The ship soon made headlines globally. Why, you must be wondering? Named the MV Alta, the ghost ship actually has quite the backstory. The 250-foot Tanzania-flagged vessel had been abandoned at sea in 2018 when the U.S. Coast Guard rescued Alta's 10 crew members after the vessel had become disabled more than 1,300 miles from Bermuda. The vessel was left abandoned and adrift, its fate unknown for nearly a year until it was spotted in the mid-Atlantic by a passing Royal Navy ship, whose crew had no other option but to report its location and continue on. It was another 17 months before the ship finally stopped sailing and washed ashore in Ireland during a winter storm. That must have been some trip for the ghosts sailing it. Otherwise, nothing can explain its survival out there for more than 2 years. Number 7. Red Jeep. This story will make you crack up. Nicholas Feliciano got a message from a friend back in 2019 with a photo of a red 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee stuck in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina, getting battered by waves. Mr. Feliciano zoomed in on the image and soon realized that the vehicle was his. He had lent it to his cousin, Joey Farrar, a few weeks before. The reason for borrowing it? So the guy could drive it to the beach and capture a video of the pre-storm sunrise, but ended up getting stuck there as the Jeep wouldn't move on the sand. The weather made it impossible for the guy to drive the Jeep, so he left it there. Worse even, he didn't let the owner know about the situation, but that didn't stop people from flocking to the beach to take photos and videos of the Jeep as the tide rose and heavy rains and winds began to batter the coastline. And of course, there were red Jeep memes. When the car was removed, let's just say it wasn't in the original condition. Humans can find, even in the worst situations, something to laugh about. Number 6. Globster. Up next, we have a creature from the deepest part of the ocean that washed up dead on a beach in Oriental Mindoro in the Philippines. It was called a globster, a term used to refer to blob-like creatures without noticeable eyes and bones or a visibly distinct head. The gray, hairy, mysterious creature measured nearly 6 meters long and weighed more than 4,000 pounds. According to the experts, this strange thing was probably a whale. They believed that gas buildup inside the body cavity caused bloating and distortion, and sharks scavenged various animal organs as they floated around. It was also noted that strands of hair on the carcass were really just the remains of muscle and blubber. This definitely gives us the creeps. What about you? Number 5. Exploding whale. 50 years ago, the television reporter Paul Lindman stood on the beach in Florence, Oregon, reporting on a dead 45-foot, 8-ton sperm whale that had washed up ashore. Officials from the state decided on how to remove the massive stinky carcass from the beach. And guess what the State Department came up with? They decided to blow up the whale with half a ton of dynamite. Yes, you heard that right, and they were pretty confident that it would work. When they did, Lindman and spectators within at least a quarter-mile radius were struck by chunks of whale guts and blubber that fell from the sky. A car more than a quarter mile from the explosion site was crushed by one of the pieces. Wait till you have to explain that to your insurance. The legendary scene became a pop culture phenomenon and a point of pride for Florence. Human stupidity has no limits, does it? Number 4. Whales. Okay, by now you've seen whales washing ashore on beaches and one even blowing up. Now we have about 416 whales flocking to a beach. This is one of the most tragic whale stories you will hear today. On February 11, 2017, volunteer workers in New Zealand Beach started their day with the grim resolve to send some 400 whales back into the sea that had been stranded on the beach and couldn't move. What happened was 1 or 2 whales from a pod strayed and got stranded. They then sent out distress signals. Other pod members swam to help or mill just offshore. Like supportive onlookers, the tide receded out from under them and they were stranded too. That's how the number of whales increased to 416. People tried their best to send them back into the water, but because of less manpower, around 150 of them died on the beach. Number 3. Vomit. 3 Yemeni fishermen hit the jackpot when they found around 80 kilograms of whale vomit in the ocean when they were out fishing. The vomit was worth around $2.5 million. You will be wondering, how can a whale vomit be so expensive? Well, whale vomit is not easily found because some fundamental factors like whales only exist in oceans and don't make wax all the time. Why would anyone want whale vomit? Well, the answer to that is aromatic. The whale vomit is a very rare wax, and it costs a lot. It has an awful smell, but it gives off a delightful scent once taken out of the water and dried. And the fact that it's not easily found, perfume companies around the world look for the wax and are ready to pay any price for it. The whale vomit is also known as ambergris. The fishermen, when they found it, didn't know what it was. They took it with them and then got to find out that they had hit the jackpot. The fishermen were impoverished, so they split the money between each other and then started a construction company so that they could change their lives. Number 2. Amber Storm. In the winter of 2015, a strong storm in the Baltic Sea covered a Russian beach in amber, a valuable gemstone used in jewelry and perfume manufacturing, and can cost between $300 to $700. Locals braved freezing temperatures to fish out the valuable amber stones entangled in the black seaweed as they washed ashore near the town of Pioneer Sky in Russia's Baltic outpost, bordered by Lithuania and Poland. More than 90% of the world's extractable amber is in Russia's Kaliningrad region between Poland and Lithuania. Formed about 50 million years ago, the gift from nature, which coincided with the Orthodox Christmas Eve, was a welcome present for residents of the region. Some of them even filled baskets with amber. Number 1. Solar-powered boat. A wooden houseboat washed ashore on Ireland's Atlantic coast some 5 years ago, prompting 2 questions. How did it get there? And where was Rick Small? The 6-meter craft, made with driftwood and polystyrene and filled with solar panels, had no one at the helm when it turned up at Drum Beach, near Belmillet in County Mayo. There was a message written on the ceiling from its inventor, Rick Small. Small was known in Canada as an environmentalist who built solar-powered 3-wheeled bikes, and his connection to the boat and how it crossed the Atlantic remained unclear. After 3 years, someone finally got in touch with Small about the boat. The 62-year-old said he built the vessel in 2016 and planned to sail it from Newfoundland to the Arctic to raise awareness about the climate crisis and vanishing Arctic ice. But when he failed to source an appropriate motor, he gave the boat away. He said he had no idea how it ended up at sea. He expressed pride that it survived a voyage of more than 1,800 miles largely intact. He said, "It didn't sink. I must have done a good job." Oh yeah, Smalls, you did a pretty fantastic job. What's the strangest thing you found on a beach? Let us know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel.